Eric Brandstrom. He had sort of elevated in the lineup in the third period last night. How pleased have you been with his play, and is there an opportunity for him to gain a bit more trust and minutes here going forward?
Yeah, I think more, like you said, more minutes. I think there is the trust factor because I think his game has been coming. He has that ability to skate the puck out and make that that one pass breakout. So, and I think even the offensive, and I think he's going to even get more comfortable. So yeah, I think we got to start chipping away and get some more ice time.
You sounded like a guy at the podium last night that maybe was contemplating significant changes at practice this morning, and yet pretty much status quo. Just sleep on it and decide to come back with sort of the same group?
Well, there might be a D change. Not sure. Maybe Jules gets in. I don't know if Forsey's ready yet. Yeah, I want to give the I think I put Hoggy with Suits and Spronger. Actually, I didn't think they were that bad when I switched it. So yeah, I don't want to overreact. I think we know we had to improve on a few things. Yeah, I don't want to go too crazy with too many changes.
Baines up on merit, obviously.
Yeah, just I think with Hoggy sometimes when you play him up there, he's fine. Hoggy's played really well for me. Sorry guys, and I think sometimes he needs to. He's got to get back to who he was. Sometimes then I think just that switch. I could switch him back. I mean, in game, it's not forever, but yeah.
Rick, the overtime goal last night, was that just a case of puck watching? Like, was it as simple as guys just kind of got locked on?
Yeah, I think JT let the guy. I don't. Maybe he thought he was going to block the shot. Yeah, the coverage obviously wasn't good. I don't think we touched the puck. So. Unfortunately, we've lost 3 games in overtime, but we've got points in our last 7 or 8 games, so there is some positives. We've set ourselves up here, with getting those points.
You talk a lot about protecting the guts of the ice. You had a couple of track meets with the Devils last year, including the one here. With a guy like Hishire who's got 9 goals, what do you have to do tomorrow just to make sure that you're tighter?
We've got to reload. I mean, you saw the goals that we give up at Carolina. They're odd man. We're giving them odd man rushes. So something that we were really good last year. So that was one of our focus in the video today. Was you have to reload. I think we're waiting on if the guy's going to win a battle or not. If it's a 50-50 puck, you got to be above people. So we'll get back to it.
Rick, you started the Bluger line in all the periods yesterday. Just curious, that line, how have they developed an identity, and what are you seeing from that trio that you're really liking?
Yeah, I just think sometimes matchup-wise, they can go against the other team's, best lines, and that leaves PD and sometimes Millsy and the other lines for their third and fourth line. So if we can get Teddy's line, which they've done a nice job of checking, it should give us our best players some mismatches. So that's what we're looking for.
And just defensively with that line, they've done such a good job of limiting high danger chances against. Is it just about the trio, that the 3 players understand the defensive zone, or what is it about that line?
Well, they're pretty responsible. They reload. They stop in the slot and they protect the slot. So they're doing the stuff that we all 4 lines have to do.
Rick, going back to the start of last year, you guys have been one of the best teams in the NHL. When the game goes into overtime, I think you guys only won 7 of 19. What do you think's up with that?
Yeah, it's we talked about strategy about 2-3 weeks ago. I think honestly, it's blown coverages and it's execution. And you can't be out there when you're tired. That's why when you can safely get off after 30 seconds, you got to get off. Because once you're tired on 3-on-3, that's when you make those mistakes. So I think there's a combination of stuff. We definitely have to have another meeting on it because. In the Florida game, we actually had a set play. When Millsy scored, it was, we caught one of their guys flat-footed, which is good. But we just got to make sure that we got to know where we're going when we don't have the puck.
Sherwood, 9 hits last night. He's on pace for 600 this year, which would smash the record by a lot. What have you noticed about him, and have you seen a player go on this type of hitting run in your career as a player or coach?
Yeah, I just remember when I played back in Philly, those Philly days, we had a team that hit a lot, and it's contagious, right? And he's a guy he's an old school guy. He goes through people, and it's not that you have to kill a guy. I think that he goes through people, or he's on his check, and it makes it difficult. Nobody wants to play against the guy when he's on the ice. It's like they're looking around, and he's hard to play against. And I think we got to get more of that from some of our guys, and we'll work on it.
Do you have anything new on Joshua, or is it just another day of practice and another step in the right direction?
Yeah, I think he went and saw the doctor with something, and but I think he's getting close to being like pain-free.
Talked last night about the power play. You mentioned those guys having to work harder.
Yeah.
Shouldn't that be the baseline?
Yeah. I got Yogi to do it, and his presentation, his stuff has been outstanding. So if you can't, I mean, it's got nothing to do with coaching. He's done an unreal job. Like he's given him some really good structure. I really believe it's the intensity, the awareness, things like that. So that's the boxes that the guys are going to have to check right now. Is it basic? Sometimes when you're talented, you think you can just skill your way, and that doesn't work. So we just got to. It's not horrible. I think we're 20%, but it's not a good taste. We don't have a good taste in our mouth with it. So, but they don't either. Trust me. So I think it's more of beating your man to your check, coming up with those loose pucks. I think somebody told me, Alex, I think we're one of the worst teams at picking off like rims. Like, those are possession plays that we need to do. We have the guys that can do it. We just got to make sure that we're more intense when we do it.
Do you think when those guys have the puck, they need to be more aggressive in getting to the net?
Well, if you beat pressure, you got to attack. I mean, there's no point to look for a play. I mean, that's the one thing we weren't good at last year. Is goals off chaos plays. Where, we were good at set plays, but we weren't good off chaos plays where, it's not even a play. It's you beat your guys out of the corner, you take it to the net, you score a goal. I think we got to get better at that, and that's a mentality, and we're working on that every day.
What about entries on the power play? What are you seeing?
Yeah, well, we're going to change a couple of things. A couple of guys might bring the puck up with some different guys, but that's supporting the puck and that's speed. It's the same thing, and it's not. You got to like we knew what Carolina was going to do. They're going to stack the one side, and some reason we stick handled to that side, and then we got stripped. So. You give them the information, then you got to make sure that you apply it. So but we'll work on it. I mean, the guys had a good practice day for it too.
One element we don't see much up on the power play is Petey's one-timer, and he has scored in this league with that as a weapon. Is that on him to find opportunities, or is it philosophical that you're just working on the left side and it's not getting to him in those shooting positions?
Well, I mean, you can't stand still, and the team's not going to let you take one timer, so you got to move, and then you got to move whatever the structure is, and then get it back. Then when you should be open, so it's a lot of movement, And I think we've been talked to Petey about moving his feet. You can't just stand still. It's like Ovechkin; he scored a ton of power play goals on that one side, right? And now teams are taking that away. Now you got to do something different. So. I know everybody wants the one-timer, but it's not there. If you got to move your feet to find other ways. So that's really what it comes down to.
Rick, it feels like it's been a while since we asked you about how Thatcher Demko's doing.
I think he's had like 4 really good days. I can tell you that. So which is good. It was I think when you have a guy out, when he starts to feel good, he stacks some consecutive days together. That's a really good thing. So that's positive.
What does it say about how well Lankinen's playing that we're not asking you about Demko all the time right now?
Yeah, I just think Lanks is like I said it to you guys, I didn't know who he was, but he's just strung game after game of good efforts. Like even in, like I said, in training camp, he missed I think he missed a week or something of training camp. So he's locked in. Even in practice, he's not too high. I mean, even he's on a bit of a roll. Like if you talk to him, he's a very humble guy. He's thankful for the opportunity, grateful for the opportunity, so he's not taking it for granted. So you got to root for a kid like that.
She lost maybe Saturday?
I haven't even decided tomorrow, so we'll see. We'll see.
Lankinen seems really cerebral. Like he's a real thinker of the game. Is that a correct assessment there?
Yeah. I think when you talk to him about even, like he wants to talk about our breakouts, like he's good at stopping rims, like he thinks every aspect of the game. He's worked really hard, but he's a student of the game. I think I was here early this morning. He was in already with Marco and doing a video. I mean, that's the way he is.
I just want to ask you, you mentioned Josh was close to being pain-free. I mean, can we get a sense of maybe when he'll return to play?
I don't have the exact date, but it's getting close. I mean, I haven't even talked to him today. But yeah, plus we got to get him on a line where he's going to get. I think he took some line rushes and got in there, and our practice wasn't that long, but he needs to get some like 3-on-3 stuff down low, pushing and shoving, and he's been doing that last couple of days.
Rick, will you have to ramp him up though? Like, this is a guy that was a big part of your penalty kill last year when he was on his game. Like, coming off this sort of situation and playing catch up, like, do you have to sort of ease a guy in a little bit?
I think so. I think you got to manage his minutes. I think you got to make him feel comfortable in certain situations. It's obviously a shock that would happen, and I think he's really dealt with it really well. But I think it's important that he just gets in the mix with the team. But Dakota's a guy that he plays all positions, right? I mean, in the sense that plays power play. Sometimes he's penalty killer for us. So, but I have to manage his minutes. Yeah.
Is there a temptation to put him back with Beluga and Bonner just to get some familiarity at the outset? Or?
I don't know. I mean, that line's really good, Teddy. I think Josh could go anywhere and fit. You get a two-way guy that goes to the net. He should be a pretty easy guy to play with. I know Garz likes playing with him.
You mentioned it the other day. Could part of that ramp-up process for him be going down on a conditioning stint to Abbotsford?
Yeah, we kind of briefly talked about it, and I'll be honest with you, I have not personally had talked to him about it, so I'll talk to him about it and see what he thinks about that. I like talking to the player about that, but for me, maybe it's just like get him in the lineup here and get him with the team and get going.
How did you get in here? Oh my God.
I like that.
I like that.
It's nice to get, some wins.
Generational talent.
Thanks for liking the video and subscribing.